Hi everyone, I was asked to do some problems from IXL just to practice these out. I'm just going to do some of these problems and solve them. So the first one is a 60-degree angle and a right angle. So I know that's going to be a 60-degree, 30, 60, 90 triangle then. So since it's a 30, 60, 90, let's make a decision on what sides are given. The 16 is the hypotenuse because it's opposite of the right angle. We know the 60-degree angle tells me this is my short side and this is my long side. The relationship between the hypotenuse and the short side is always half or double going to hypotenuse and half going back. So the half of 16 is 8. And then from the short side to the long side, remember this is a special relationship of square root of 3. So we multiply by square root of 3. 8 square root of 3. Sorry, that looks terrible. That's square root of 3. So also we know the angle is 30 degrees. Okay, so if you fill this out, the sides are, the top side is going to be 8 radical 3. The left side, VW, is going to be 8. And the angle we're missing in U is going to be 30 degrees. So again, the key to solving these problems is you know the relationships between 30, 60, 90s and 45, 45s, so you can go forward and backwards very quickly. If this problem has a square root in it, but we'll take it. 60, right angle, angle B, C, and A. And we have 32 square root of 7. So we're just going to solve for all three of them. We know the 60 degrees, that means we know this is 30 degrees. We can say the side this is the hypotenuse because it's opposite of the right angle. And 60 degrees tells me this is the short side, and this is my long side. And in all 36, 90 triangles, we said the relationship between the hypotenuse and the short side is always double to go to the hypotenuse, so it's half to come back. So it's half to come back. So 32 square root of 7, half of it gives me 16 square root of 7. Now to get from my short side to my long side, we multiply by square root of 3. So it's 16 square root of 7 times square root of 3. Square roots only affect square roots. So it's 16 square root of 21. Let's go and fill that out. AB is my bottom side, my long side, 16 square root of 21. The AC on the right, we said is going to be 16 square root of 7. And my missing angle was going to be 30 degrees. Okay, for 45, 45, this is a lot easier. I'm just going to skip this problem, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. 7 square root of 2, 45. So we want to make sure we see this is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is related to the side. If we went forward to the hypotenuse, if we got bigger, we multiply by square root of 2. And if we go back, we divide by square root of 2. So 7 square root of 2, we're going to divide it by, or apply by square root of 2 on the bottom. Same thing as division. I can rewrite that as 7 square root of 2 over square root of 2. We're dividing. That gives us the side 7. And if I know this side is 7, since it's isosceles 45, that's also going to be 7. Okay, let's go ahead and skip ahead and do some problems that are not special triangles. Oh, that one is actually pretty good with the square root. So this question might seem a little tricky with the square root, but we use our rules. Our rules are saying this is what type of special triangle? I see 45 in one corner. It's a right angle. The other angle must be 45 degrees. So we know these sides are going to always be the same. They're given that the bottom side is square root of 38. That means the isosceles triangle, the other side is also going to be square root of 38. And the hypotenuse is multiplying by square root of 2 because we always go from the identical sides to the hypotenuse by multiplying by square root of 2. Let's do the math. Square root of 38 times square root of 32. Oh, sorry, of 2. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the 2 there. And you could do the math right now. You can multiply it out and say this is 76. But then you would have to find the square root of that. On the right, let me do my box method. 76 divided by the smallest number, which is 2. That's going to be 38. 2 would be 19. And we can't break it up anymore. So we do have a pair here. So it's a pair of 2's left over 19. You could probably have seen that right here, because 38 is really 2 times 19, and we had a pair of 2's automatically, so we could have skipped that step. So the big deal again, no matter what they write, stick to the rules we know. To go from my side to my hypotenuse is always times square root of 2. If we're going backwards from the hypotenuse back to the side, that's divide by square root of 2. Okay, let's go ahead and jump. This one, we should know it's, since the sides are the same and it's a right angle, it's going to be isosceles. And since we use 90 degrees up already, that means the other two angles must share, let's call this A and B. A plus B must equal to 90, and since they're exactly the same, since it's isosceles, they both have to be 45. Okay, we've had one that's no longer a nice special triangle here. So let's go ahead and work on this. So we are given 3 bits of information, and that's the key thing. I need 3 bits of information to solve any triangle. This is going to be 45. Oh, sorry, 90 degrees. This is 27. This is 1, E, D, and C. Okay, let's realize that if I have one angle, a right angle, I can find the third angle. We do that by 90 plus 27 plus E is equal to 180. You could do the work here. Or, you know what? Since we know 90 degrees is gone already, we can just say 90 minus, we have 90 to share left. So 90 minus 27 is equal to, what is it, 63 degrees. This has to be 63 degrees. We found out one angle already. Now to find the missing sides, we have to label the sides that we know. If we want to stick with 27, let's stick with 27 because we know for sure that's right. My 1 is my opposite, my hypotenuse, which is unknown, and my adjacent is unknown. So as mentioned in class and in my other videos, that we have to pick a side we know and a side we don't know. So a side we know for sure is opposite. A side we don't know is my adjacent here. So I'll call that little e, and we'll call the hypotenuse little d. The way we label this is always the little letter for the side and the big angle for the number. Okay, that's all for E. So the side we know is opposite, the side we don't know is adjacent. So which trig ratio do we use for opposite adjacent? That's going to be tangent. Opposite of 1, adjacent is E. Now to solve for this, we practiced this a lot in class already. The trick is just to flip those. Flip the E and the tangent. And this is just going to be calculator for us. Let's go ahead and take out my calculator. We're going to say, oh, sorry about this advertisement. We're going to clear that. We're going to say 1 divided by 27 tangent equals, the side should be E is 1.96. They're going to ask us to round up to the nearest tenth in the problem. So it's going to be 9 is going to bump to a, from 19 to 20, I guess you could think. That's going to be 2.0. That is my rounded up value. Now for the next part, let's go ahead and solve for the hypotenuse. So again, we pick a side we know, and let's choose the 1 because we know the 1. And hypotenuse now, that's opposite and hypotenuse. Which trig ratio is opposite hypotenuse? That's going to be sine of 27 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. I want to make sure you guys see this, that this sine is opposite and hypotenuse, and I just copied. All I'm doing is just copying the parts. I'm not trying to make this hard. The whole difficult part is the setup. Since D is on the bottom, we want to bring D to the top. We're going to do a swap. So on my calculator over here, we're going to say 1 divided by, let me clear it just in case, 1 divided by 27 sine equals, and D is equal to 2.2. If you want now, we could, use a Pythagorean theorem just to verify your answer. That's 2.0 and 2.2. Remember, these are just rounded off numbers, so it's going to be close to 1. It won't be exactly 1, but let's go and try it. We'll use our sides. 1 squared plus 2 squared, right? That's 2.0. 2 squared is equal to 2.2. Is that approximately right? Squared? So 1 squared is 1 plus, oops. 1 plus 4 is equal to 2.2 squared. Let's do that. 2.2 squared equals to 4.84. And 5 is approximately close to 4.84. And the reason why it's off so badly is because we only rounded to the tenths position. If we did this to the hundreds or the thousandths, it would be a lot more accurate. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug in our answers and see how we did. So we are told that CE, let me move this up a little bit. C is my hypotenuse, and we said that was going to be 2.2. Hopefully that's right. Our CD is 2.0. Hopefully you don't fault me for putting a decimal there. And my missing angle is 63. Let's double check that. 63. Here we go. Fantastic. Oh, that was scary. Okay, let's do one more problem. In this case, we have 24, we have 10, A, B, and C. Now, we know that one angle is 24, another angle is 90, so we're left with what? Again, you could say 90 plus 24 plus A is equal to 180. That would totally work. But, you know, for time's sake, if we know that we used up 90 degrees already, that means we have to share 90 left. So what's going to remain is 66 degrees. And that's just to find the angle. Let's talk about the sides now. Let's label the sides. Let's use the angle 24. So the opposite would be over here, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Let's pick a side. We call that C, call this A, little a. Let's pick a side we don't know and a side that we know. We don't know opposite, but we sure do know hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse leads us back to our favorite sign, is equal to opposite C over hypotenuse 10 as a setup. We just have to multiply 10 to both sides to solve this. Multiply 10 to both sides. C is equal to 10 sine of 24. And that's just calculator work. And we can do that in just a little bit. Let's go a step for the next problem. Let's solve for A. So pick a side we don't know, pick a side we know. I don't know adjacent, I do know hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse is which trig ratio? Adjacent hypotenuse is going to be cosine. And the whole goal is to just set it up. Don't try solving it yet, just set it up. After you set it up, you can make a decision to solve it. I want to multiply 10 to both sides. And that's just calculator work. Let's go take out the calculator. Oh, come on. Whoops. It wasn't going. Here we go. And we're just going to plug in those numbers. 10 times 24 sine equals 4. We should say 4.1 because we're rounding up. 4.06 rounding up gives us a 4.1. And on the right side, let's do the next problem. 10 times 24 cosine equals 9.13. So 9.1 is our A value, side A. Okay, let's see if this makes sense relatively to the problem. If I wrote 9.1 here and 4.1, okay, so my biggest angle, which is my 90 degrees, gives me my biggest side 10. All right, 60 degrees is a little bit less, so my side's going to be a little bit less. And 24 is my smallest angle, gives me my smallest side, 4.1. Okay, let's go ahead and plug in our answers and see how we did. AB, which is the right side, we're going to write 4.1 here. BC, it's the top side, we're going to write 9.1. And our missing angle is 66. Hopefully we wrote everything correctly. Terrific. All right, and we're at 80 now. Cool. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you need more help.